Imagine walking through life carrying a heavy backpack. At first it seems manageable, just a little extra weight on your shoulders, but as time goes on, more is added. Small stones at first, then bricks, then boulders. You start to feel tired, drained, wondering why every step forward feels harder than it should. And then, one day, you realize the truth. Most of that weight isn't yours to carry. It belongs to the people around you. The complainers, the manipulators, the envious, the unreliable, the ones who take and never give. We often believe that loyalty means holding on, that kindness means making room for everyone, even those who weigh us down. But what if I told you that the wrong people in your life can do more damage than any failure, any setback, any personal weakness? What if I told you that success, happiness, and even peace depend not just on what you do, but on who you allow to stand beside you? Today we're going to talk about 5 types of people you don't need in your life. People who hold you back, dim your light, and make your journey harder than it has to be. And once you recognize them, you'll never see them the same way again. They do not enter your life with force, nor do they announce their intentions. No, the manipulator arrives subtly, often cloaked in charm, patience, and an uncanny ability to make you feel understood. They are not the villain in a fable, the obvious deceiver with a wicked grin. They are the ones who know how to make you trust them, how to become indispensable, how to weave themselves into the very fabric of your life until you can no longer tell where you end and they begin. They listen, and they listen well. They take note of your strengths, your fears, your insecurities. They study you with quiet precision, learning what makes you hesitate, what words strike the deepest, what wounds have never fully healed. They are patient because patience makes them more effective. Their power lies not in outright control, but in making you believe you are still the one making choices. They do not push you down, they make you question whether you were ever standing in the first place. Their greatest weapon is doubt. You say something with certainty, and they tilt their head just slightly, just enough to make you reconsider. Are you sure that happened? Are you sure that's what they meant? I think you're overreacting. Little by little, they blur the lines of your reality, rewriting the narrative just enough to keep you off balance. They make you second guess what you once knew with absolute clarity. They become the keeper of truth, the one who decides what is real and what is merely your misinterpretation. They know when to pull away just enough to make you chase them. They create distance, and in that distance you panic. Have you done something wrong? Have you misunderstood them? You'll find yourself apologizing when you should not, bending when you should stand firm. They make you believe their absence is your fault, and so you work harder to keep them close. But their approval is like a mirage. You never quite reach it. Manipulators rarely use anger. That would be too obvious. No, they use disappointment. They make you feel as though you have let them down, that your actions have caused harm, that you have failed to meet some unspoken expectation. And because they have convinced you that they are wiser, kinder, more reasonable, you accept their judgment without question. You begin to defer to them, to seek their guidance, to rely on their validation. And once that happens, they have you. You will find yourself making choices you would not have made before. You will silence yourself in conversations where you once spoke freely. You will shrink in ways you do not even notice. And if someone tries to warn you, you will defend the manipulator. They are not like that. They mean well. You don't understand them like I do. That is how deep their influence runs. You do not see the cage they have built around you because they made you believe it was your own doing. They are easy to recognize, yet difficult to escape. Their presence is like a dark cloud, a weight that settles over every conversation, every moment shared. They do not seek solutions, nor do they welcome them. Instead, they collect grievances like treasures, cataloging every slight, every misfortune, every instance where life has been unfair to them. They do not complain to be heard, they complain to be validated. And if you listen long enough, you may begin to carry their burdens as if they were your own. You sympathize. After all, life is not always kind, and everyone needs to vent. Their struggles seem real, their frustrations justified. You offer advice, suggestions, ways to improve their situation, but they dismiss them, sometimes with a shake of the head, sometimes with a tired sigh, as if the world is too heavy and they are too exhausted to fight against it. They do not want answers. they want an audience. They want someone to acknowledge their suffering, to reinforce the idea that their problems are insurmountable, that the universe has conspired against them. You begin to notice the patterns. The stories are always the same. There is always someone else to blame, a cruel boss, an ungrateful friend, an unfair system. Nothing ever changes because change requires action, and action is not what they seek. They do not want to climb out of their misery. They want company in it. And so they pull you in, their words heavy with disappointment, their outlook bleak. If you're not careful, their hopelessness will become your own. They are masters of turning positivity into naivety. Offer them hope and they will call you unrealistic. Share your own success and they will remind you of the struggles you have yet to face. They will take your enthusiasm and dull its edges, not out of malice, but because they do not know how to exist outside of their own discontent. To them, happiness is fleeting, optimism is foolish, and those who see the world differently simply do not understand reality as they do. You will find yourself hesitating before you speak, carefully choosing your words so as not to provoke another round of complaints. You will catch yourself filtering your own happiness, downplaying your achievements, tiptoeing around their sensitivity. You will learn that certain topics are off limits. Anything that suggests improvement, anything that contradicts their narrative of hardship. And in doing so, you will shrink just a little. Your energy will drain, your patience will wear thin, and yet you will feel guilty for wanting to step away, because what kind of person turns their back on someone who is struggling? But they are not simply struggling, they are choosing to stay where they are. And the longer you stand beside them, the more you will begin to feel the weight of their world pressing down on your own. You will realize that no amount of listening, no depth of empathy will ever be enough to pull them out of the place they have chosen to remain. They arrive with warmth, with laughter, with the easy comfort of familiarity. They stand beside you when the sun is shining, when life is smooth, when victories come easily. They celebrate your joys, raise a glass to your success, and speak as though they will always be by your side. And for a time you believe them. You trust in their presence, in their friendship, in the idea that they are constant. But the illusion lasts only as long as the good times do. The fair weather friend is not a storm. They are the calm before it. They do not betray, deceive, or attack. No, their absence is a quieter kind of harm. When things begin to unravel, when life becomes uncertain, you look for them, expecting their support, but find only distance. Their silence is loud, their absence striking. They do not leave with dramatic exits or harsh words. They simply fade, slipping away when the burden of your struggles becomes too great for them to carry. You make excuses for them. They must be busy. Perhaps they do not know how to help. You tell yourself that they will reach out when they can, that they are still there in spirit. But days pass, then weeks, and in their place is nothing but an empty space where their presence used to be. And yet you remember how readily they stood beside you when there was something to gain, when you were successful, when you were the one offering support, when your presence added value to their life. If you reach out, they will respond, but their words will be shallow. They will offer vague encouragement, a passing remark, a promise to catch up soon, but they will not be there when you need them most. Their friendship was never built for hardship. It was never meant to withstand struggle. They were drawn to your light, not to you. They enjoyed the version of you that required nothing from them. The version that was easy, that was fun, that did not come with weight. And so, when the weight appeared, they let go. You begin to realize that their loyalty was conditional, dependent on circumstance, on convenience. They were never meant to stay. And yet, when life turns again, when the struggles fade, when success returns, so will they. With smiles, with laughter, with open arms, as if nothing had ever changed. They will expect to pick up where they left off, to step back into your world as though they had never left it. And if you allow them, they will do it again. They are not cruel, they do not intend harm. But their presence was never about you, it was about what you provided. And the painful truth is that some friendships are not built to last through all seasons. Some exist only in the sunshine, disappearing with the first sign of rain. And in their absence, you learn who was truly there for you and who was only there for what you could offer. They are not loud in their resentment, nor are they obvious in their discontent. Instead, they wear a smile, offer congratulations, and speak words that sound supportive. But beneath the surface, there is something else. Something sharp, something calculated. They are the envious underminer, the one. It starts small, a comment here, a hesitation there. You share good news, and instead of excitement, they respond with mild surprise. Really? You got that opportunity? It sounds innocent enough, but the message is clear. They did not expect it from you. They plant seeds of doubt, subtle but deliberate, questioning whether you truly deserve what you have achieved. If you are not careful, you might begin to wonder the same. Their compliments are laced with something that stings, wrapped in kindness but filled with quiet condescension. You're lucky they chose you. It must be nice to have things fall into place so easily. They do not attack outright, because that would be too obvious. Instead, they diminish, deflate, remind you, without ever saying it outright, that your success is not entirely your own. They want you to second-guess yourself, to hesitate, to feel the weight of their doubt pressing against your confidence. When you struggle, they are there, but their support is not the kind that lifts you. It is the kind that reinforces failure. Maybe this wasn't the right path for you. Not everyone gets what they want. Sometimes things just aren't meant to be. Their words sound wise, even concerned, but listen closely and you will hear the satisfaction in them. Your struggle soothes them, reassures them that they are not being left behind. When you fail, they are kinder, more present, because in that moment, they feel safe again. They speak of fairness, of how hard they have worked, of how others, people like you, seem to have things handed to them. They do not say it outright, but you can feel it. They believe they deserve what you have more than you do. They would never say it aloud, because they know how it would sound. But the bitterness is there, woven into their laughter, hidden behind their carefully chosen words. They remain close, watching, waiting. They will never cut ties, because to do so would mean admitting what they truly feel. They need to be near you, to monitor your progress, to measure themselves against you. They do not want to lose sight of where you are, because your success is the mirror in which they see their own shortcomings. They will not leave, but they will not truly support you either. And as time passes, you begin to realize that their presence is not one of friendship, but of quiet, lingering resentment dressed in the disguise of loyalty. They always have a reason, an explanation, a carefully crafted excuse. Nothing is ever their fault, and nothing ever truly changes. They live in a world where external forces dictate everything. Bad luck, unfair circumstances, difficult people. They have become experts in avoiding accountability, shifting blame with effortless ease. If they fail, it is because someone else set them up to fail. If they disappoint, it is because expectations were too high. If they fall short, it is because life is simply too unfair. You might believe them. Their stories are convincing, their grievances real. They speak with frustration, with exasperation, with the certainty that they have been wronged. You offer sympathy, perhaps even solutions. But solutions are not what they seek. They do not want to change their circumstances. They want someone to validate their helplessness. And if you are not careful, you will become the one carrying their burdens, trying to fix what they refuse to take responsibility for. They speak of dreams, of ambitions, of things they wish to accomplish. They paint grand pictures of the future, of the success they are sure they will achieve. But time passes, and nothing happens. The plans remain plans, the goals remain words. There is always a reason why now is not the right time, why circumstances are not in their favor. They are always waiting for the perfect opportunity, for a sign, for some external force to align the world in their, and in the waiting they do nothing. If they let someone down, there is always an excuse. They forgot because they were overwhelmed. They didn't follow through because something unexpected came up. They didn't put in the effort because it wouldn't have worked out anyway. They are never the problem. There is always something else to blame. And yet the pattern repeats. You begin to notice that no matter how much time passes, no matter how many second chances they are given, the outcome is always the same. They deflect. They become defensive, turning the conversation around, making you feel as though you are the one being unreasonable. You don't understand what I'm dealing with. You're being too harsh. Not everyone has it as easy as you do. They refuse to acknowledge the role they play in their own failures, choosing instead to paint themselves as victims of circumstance. And if you continue to hold them accountable, they will distance themselves, seeking out those who will accept their excuses without question. You begin to realize that their inaction is not due to bad luck or difficult circumstances, but to an unwillingness to take control of their own life. They are not interested in growth, in change, in breaking the cycle they have created. They only seek to explain away their failures, to shift the weight of responsibility onto others. And as time passes, you see the truth. No matter how much you encourage them, no matter how much support you offer, they will remain exactly where they are, trapped in the same cycle of avoidance, waiting for a future that will never come. They do not seek peace. They do not thrive in calm. Their world is built on chaos, and if it does not exist naturally, they will create it. They are the drama conductor, the unseen hand that stirs conflict, the whisperer in the shadows that turns simple misunderstandings into full-blown betrayals. They move through life collecting information, not for understanding, but for leverage. They know exactly what to say, how to twist a story, how to plant the smallest seed of doubt in someone's mind and step back as it grows into something far greater. They always seem to be in the center of conflict, yet never directly involved. They position themselves as the neutral party, the one who simply happens to know what others are saying, what is being done behind closed doors, what truths are being hidden. I just thought you should know. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but their words are laced with concern, with feigned reluctance, as if they take no pleasure in the chaos they create. Watch closely, and you will see the satisfaction in their eyes when their words take effect. They play people against each other with careful precision. A whisper to one friend about something another supposedly said. A passing remark to a colleague that sows distrust. A suggestion, subtly phrased, that makes someone question their own judgment. They do not need to lie outright. Half-truths and omissions are far more effective. They understand that people will believe what they want to believe, and they use that to their advantage. They thrive on reaction, the raised voices, the tension in the air, the fractured relationships. And when the dust settles, they position themselves as the mediator, the peacemaker, the one who was only trying to help. I never meant for this to happen. I just want everyone to get along. And yet, the moment things return to normal, they begin again, finding new threads to pull, new insecurities to exploit. You may not recognize them at first. They can be charming, engaging, even entertaining. They have a way of making life seem exciting, full of intrigue. But over time, you begin to notice the patterns. The way conflicts seem to follow them wherever they go. The way friendships fall apart in their orbit. The way trust erodes in their presence. And if you step back, if you observe without getting caught in their web, you will see it clearly. They are not the victim, not the buyer. They are the source. If you confront them, they will deny it. They will turn the narrative around, accuse you of misunderstandings, of overreacting. They will play the wounded party, the one who only ever tried to help. And if you let them, they will pull you back in, weaving you into their endless cycle of conflict and manipulation. But once you see them for what they are, you cannot unsee it. You realize that peace will never exist where they remain, because they do not know how to live without the chaos they create. In life, the people you choose to surround yourself with shape your journey just as much as your own choices do. The manipulator, the complainer, the fair-weather friend, the envious underminer, the excuse maker, and the drama conductor, each of them drains you in ways you may not notice at first. They do not always harm you outright, nor do they always reveal their nature immediately. But over time, they take from you your confidence, your energy, your peace, until you find yourself weighed down by their presence. Recognizing these people is not about holding resentment. It is about reclaiming your space, your mind, your future. You do not owe anyone your time if that time is spent navigating their toxicity. You do not need to justify stepping away from those who drain you. Growth demands that you choose your circle wisely, that you invest in relationships that uplift, challenge, and support you in equal measure. The people who belong in your life are the ones who want to see you rise, not the ones who hold you back. So as you move forward, be mindful of who walks beside you. Let go of those who only bring weight to your steps. Surround yourself with those who inspire, those who encourage, those who stand firm in both the sunshine and the storm. And most importantly, be that person for others. Good luck on your journey. Stay strong, stay aware, and never be afraid to protect your peace. Thank you.